Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing, I guess, a podcast is what I want this to be. I have no idea what I'm going to call it yet, but I have until Sunday to figure that out. Um, this is my microphone slash talking stick because I don't have a microphone and I always feel like that's what I'm missing in my videos. And I start flailing my hands around like a maniac. And so I want to hold something. So this beautiful candle is going to be our stand-in microphone until I have like 20 or 30, or I haven't even looked to see how much they cost yet, honestly. So it'll be our stand-in for now. Honestly, I should be in bed right now, but my daughter's going through the worst sleep regression of her life. So I don't think I'm going to be going to bed anytime soon. And even if she sleeps perfectly tonight, which would be hilarious if she did, I am just going to stay up for the fun of it, I guess. I work very early tomorrow. I work at 4:30 in the morning, if you can believe it. So that means I get up. My first alarm goes off at like 3:20, and then I'm usually out of bed by 3:40, and that gives me about 30 minutes to get myself together before the sun's even thinking about coming up. So yeah, I'm not looking forward to it, but I have a 3-day weekend this week, so can't complain too much, I guess, but I will, because getting up at 3 in the morning is awful. But I do it because capitalism, baby. I need the money. Um, so yeah, enough of that ramble. Back to what I was saying about this series. I it this may turn into something where I just talk about what's been on my heart, what's been on my mind. This could be a podcast. I'm not really sure yet. I'm honestly not really sure where the direction of this channel is going in general, but YouTube is something I've always wanted to do, and so I don't want to give up on it just because I haven't found my niche. I think I get really discouraged, or have gotten really discouraged in the past when I start start YouTube things, because I don't know what my ideal audience is supposed to be, or I don't know what my niche is, or what value I bring to the table. The value is me. So if you like me, I think you'll just enjoy my channel. So that's what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna make things that I want to make instead of trying to put myself in a box, because that has not been working. So for now, I want to just do some podcasty things. I really want to dip my toes into the vlogging world, but I have some reservations about that. So I've been brainstorming and trying to figure out what I want to do there. But yeah, in my past videos, I've talked about goal planning, and that's definitely something that's really important to me. And I think that's why I started with that, because I feel like goal planning is helpful. It's a good tool. But if you noticed, if you've been watching my other videos, which thanks, I didn't think anybody would watch those, but I've been saying that I want to post weekly, and that was a goal for quarter 1, but sickness has been ravaging my household this winter. My boyfriend and my daughter both got sick at the beginning of January, and I somehow missed that one. But by the end of January, what I believe to be the flu has flown through our house and caused just pure mayhem in my life. So I've been recovering from that, and you know, the flu. What more else is there to say about it? It's hard to do things when you have the flu, let alone anything creative. But what sickness did give me was a lot of time to reflect and to think about where my goals are at. Sorry, I have to cough. um, yeah, so the flu gave me a lot of time I'm also probably going to be doing a lot of that, a lot of sniffling, because I have congestion still, and when I talk, it gets all pushed to the front of my nose. But yeah, it gave me a lot of time to think about my goals, which I was going to do anyways, because we are halfway through the quarter. I don't know if we're on week 6 or week 7 anymore, but I was gonna do that anyway. So instead of doing it in my planner, I did it with 102-degree fever while I was laying in bed and being so unbelievably thankful that I live in the 21st century and not in like 14th century England, because this one was really bad. I haven't been sick in a long time. I kind of forgot what it was like to have a fever and be immobile for 3 days. So yeah, I feel like it gave me a new perspective on life, which is really dramatic, but it was like all my bodily autonomy was ripped away from me, and I couldn't do anything. I honestly don't even know how I was taking care I don't know how me and my partner were taking care of our child, because we were both so sick, but we did it because we're good parents and we managed. But sorry, I got a little sidetracked there. But all that to say, I have some new plans for the rest of the quarter and some new inspiration too. So I guess, and I was already feeling this before we got sick, but I was really, because I skipped an upload. I believe I skipped an upload the week before we got sick, and I was really beating myself up about that. But my heart like wasn't in it, and I didn't have anything that I was feeling really passionate about making that week. And then I started thinking about goal work, and I started thinking about, is goal work a linear path? Like, can you succeed in what you wanted to do if you don't check off box ABC? And the conclusion I came to is obviously yes. Even though I'm not going to upload 12 to 13 videos this quarter, I do think that I'm going to be uploading some quality things that I'm really excited about. And I think that I'm moving in a positive direction, and I believe that's enough. And it's hard, I think, with ADHD, because I will feel really inspired by something. Something will give me a lot of dopamine, and then I'll kind of crash from that, or the decision fatigue, or what's the other word I'm looking for? Like, I guess the excitement of it all is the wrong word, because it can still feel exciting, but it almost feels like maybe just the executive function of it starts to feel really big and really daunting, and I don't always have the dopamine to keep pushing me through those things. So hobbies, and specifically hobbies that I feel are an obligation to other people, start to not be fun. And so I need to find that balance with this. And yeah, the point of all of this to say is that goals are allowed to change, and this wasn't the only goal that changed. And another one that I was really beating myself up about was that I didn't really want to make a baby book, and I felt so guilty about that, because my daughter has to have a baby book.
Okay, sorry, I know my phone's low and there's not an outlet near, so hopefully it stays with me. But yeah, I was like, she has to have a baby book or she's gonna hate me forever, which is just not true. And I was like, because who knows, she might not even care. I don't know. She's not even 2 yet, so I don't know. But I was thinking, why do I want the baby book? And I personally just want to have physical copies of the pictures. I don't necessarily need them to be in elaborate spreads in a book. So that one was easy. I was like, what can I do to fix this? I'm just gonna print off the pictures and keep them in a box somewhere. And then when I want to look at the baby pictures, I'll get the box out and I'll look at the baby pictures. So yeah, I was like, that's easy. Why? I don't know. I I put a lot of pressure on myself, and I put a lot of rules in place, and then I don't want to follow the rules, and I know this about myself, but I still do it instead of just picking the road less traveled, or maybe it is the road more traveled because it's like the easy way, and not the extravagant perfectionist way. So yeah, so I'm feeling differently about my goals.
And then some of my goals I like totally knocked out of the park. I already paid off the debt. I've been really liking my media journal a lot, and it is something that I've been having to push myself to do, but it really feels like something like there's going to be a lot of cuts in this. I'm having like a really human experience tonight. I'm like itchy, and I'm having like acid reflux and heartburn. So sorry if there's like, and I'm coughing. So I'm sorry if there's like a million jumps in this. I'm not very good at editing yet, but I'll get there, or I'll eventually just hire somebody to do it. But anyways, yeah. So that's like my mid-quarter check-in, I guess. I'm feeling good still about my goals. I was feeling real low for a second, and now I feel like I'm coming back up. So yeah, I kind of just wanted a space to talk about things about like this, like just little topics that maybe don't warrant a whole video, which is kind of like what a podcast is, right? Um, it's just a bunch of things strung together. And this is not the first time I've tried to make a podcast. When I was in high school, I had a podcast called Brain Milk, which you cannot find. It was actually on this channel, I believe. And I've not had the courage to listen back to it, but I think I might at some point. And then when I was pregnant and I was super sick with my daughter, and I was starting to feel a little better as I was getting closer to the second trimester, I tried to start a podcast, but I don't think it went anywhere. I think it stayed on my phone, unfortunately. So I didn't do anything with that. And now we're here. So I have a long history with making content. I've tried a lot, tried many times before, but and I think I mentioned that, but I was very blasé about it, very impulsive, and I didn't. I guess I felt like it wasn't valuable if it was thoughtful, which doesn't make any sense. I think it's has more value if I put a little bit of effort into it and think about what I want to say and articulate. Like I have some topics planned out for today. I didn't really plan anything out too much. And honestly, I thought I was going to talk about that goal work thing for like 45 minutes. I was getting really nervous that the time was already at like 25 minutes, but I've only been talking for like 12 minutes, I think. So that's not that bad. And I've also struggled with content creation because I feel like I don't look pretty enough. My wardrobe doesn't represent me enough. My backgrounds aren't finished. But we just moved into this house 6 months ago, and I would say for two people with jobs and a toddler, it looks pretty damn good in here. I wish it was more colorful in here. I'm sad that they painted it beige, I guess is what this color is. It's honestly, I don't even know what this color is. I want it to go away. So that was one of my goals, was to paint one room, but I'm not totally sure that's gonna happen anymore. So yeah, I always feel like I am inadequate in some way to be worthy of viewing from like a visual standpoint, and I think that's dumb, and I should get over that. So I am. We're just moving on from that, and that kind of does bring me to another topic that I wanted to talk about tonight. That's been weighing really heavy on me, and that topic is self-expression and my roller coaster of a relationship with it, and how Obviously, it has affected content creation for me and how I feel like I'm not allowed to make content because I feel like I'm not expressing myself to the fullest extent. Like, I don't uh, look or present the way that I feel on the inside, and there's a few reasons for that. This isn't the first time that I've struggled with this. I feel like when I got pregnant, I kind of dropped a lot of the work that I was doing on that. And I was so sick when I was pregnant. I think I went to the ER twice for dehydration, and the second time it was really bad, and they were like, if this medicine doesn't work, we're gonna have to move on to some bigger, unsafe things. So I was a little busy doing that. I was a little busy being sick. And then, when you're pregnant, it's like nothing fits, and I just didn't have the money to go buy a whole new pregnancy wardrobe. I was working with what I had, and I actually I still have this shirt. It's like a Nike shirt, and it's got like a fun purple Nike, and I had bought that shirt a couple months before I was pregnant, and then I got pregnant, and that shirt still fit me up until up until I gave birth. It still fit me. Maybe not the last few weeks, but um, I wore that shirt to death. I still have it, and I still wear it like at bedtime and stuff, but it's got like holes in it. Like, I have loved that shirt, and that's because that shirt felt like it really represented me well. And so when I wore it, I felt like myself, and I wrote like a little poem to it somewhere because it was really important for me to feel like myself when I was pregnant. But it's hard to. I feel like it's hard to keep up with my ever changing body lately, and that's one of the things that's deterred me from getting pregnant again. Is I just don't know if I'll be able to feel like myself, and I don't think I'm supposed to 100% feel like myself because I will be doing something, or I don't want to say this. I'll be going on like a different journey with myself, but I do think it's important to. If I say self one more time, I think this conversation or this this monologue is gonna be redundant, but I want people to see me how I feel. And I think a lot of humans feel that way. Actually, I think most humans probably feel that way, that they want to look how they feel. And that's been really hard for me for honestly the past decade. Because like I said, this isn't the first time I've gone on this journey of self-expression. But I've been watching a lot of makeup videos recently, and I watch them and I'm like, oh, I wish I could do that. Why can't I do that? I I don't know if it's like evil Lydia in my head that's telling me that I can't. Because like, I have a Ulta gift card sitting around. I could go get sparkly eyeshadow and wear sparkly eyeshadow, but something in me is like, well, you're not that kind of person. And it's like, but I like it, and I feel like that kind of person. I feel like somebody who wants to wear sparkly eyeshadow, but yeah, it's like a double edged sword, I guess. There's sort of two sides of a coin. Like, there's two different versions of me. Like, one of them is really fun and self-expressive, and one of them's really like, you suck, you can't do that. So I want her to shut up, and I want my fun, spunky self to be more present. And I think that's probably something I'm gonna intentionally put more energy into soon. Um, I want to say next quarter, but I don't necessarily want to limit myself to just doing it, to to just doing it that I'm sorry if I'm saying a lot. I don't do that normally. I'm trying to get used to talking on camera and being a cohesive person on camera because I'm definitely not used to it, which is why I have the microphone tonight. But what was I saying? I don't remember. I remember what I was saying. I was talking, okay. I don't want to limit myself to like a time frame with this because feels like something I can just do tomorrow. I can just be more self-expressive tomorrow. But yeah, it's been tricky. I used to be someone who was very into fashion. Like fashion was like a childhood interest for me. I wanted to be a fashion designer when I grew up, and somewhere along the line, I just really tamped that down, and I wish I didn't. I wish I could go back to past versions of myself and be like, no. And there were circumstances that influenced that, and I also used to be someone who wore makeup, and when I was in high school and stuff, and like I used to wear like a purple lip, or I remember I did fun Valentine's Day makeup one year, I think like my freshman year or something, and those things felt really fun and special to me, and I think they also felt like play for my teenage self, and I just don't grant myself that anymore in my 20s. I haven't really granted myself that, and I want, as I am entering my mid 20s, I want that to change. And it's Lunar New Year this weekend. It's the year of the snake, which is, or not, never, it was the year of the snake. We're moving into the year of the horse, which is the year of change. I'm really trying to embrace the change that is inevitably going to come this year. Even though I so desperately wanted a boring year this year, we moved last year. I had a baby in 2024. I'm ready for some mundane, I think, but I'm probably not gonna get it because there's never a dull moment around here. So yeah, but the things that I can control, the things that I have the ability to change, something being I want to self-express more. So yeah, some of that will be, I will be wearing more makeup. I will be wearing clothes that I like. It would be like making outfits to go out into the world, like when I go grocery shopping and stuff. And something that's been hard is we only have one car right now, so I'm not really leaving the house when my boyfriend goes to work because we can't. That'll be better once it's nicer outside. Sorry, guys. I'm sleepy. But, like, we've been playing outside, and I don't like that the neighbors are just seeing me in, like, my sweatpants that have holes in them, and my oversized t-shirt. I want to look, I don't know, I want the world to, and it's like, it's not that I care what they think. I just don't feel like I'm representing myself when I go outside, when I leave my house, even if it's just to be on my front porch. I want everything, and then maybe this is excessive, but I want everything in my closet to feel like me. Even if it's just for a season, I want it to feel like me. I want to feel good in it. And right now I don't feel good in my clothes, and I feel very subdued in my clothes. And like this shirt, for example, I like the shirt. It's a comfortable shirt. It has its time and place, but this isn't a shirt that makes me feel stylish or fashionable, or and those are things that I want to feel basically. And I just listened to a video where I can link it down below, where they were talking about how, in this is going to be a big jump, bear with me, where in Nazi Germany women were encouraged, if not told, to be subdued and to be boring basically, and I don't want to be boring. That's not who I am. And I have little glimmers of it on myself. Like I always have my septum ring in. I got a fun pair of glasses. I have some hair accessories that I like to wear to work, but I can do more. I can go bigger. Okay, I can be doing a lot more with my appearance, I think. So, and I have my hand tattoos. Like those are really important to me. Yeah, not only is like self expression something that is really important to me, and I've been feeling really drawn to. I think it's also kind of a form of revolution right now. And I have somebody I went to high school with posted something really dumb on Facebook about how music isn't political, and I'm like, brother, have you listened to any music ever? Like it's all political. Rap music's political. R&B music is political. Um, like the punk and goth scene, the emo scene, like all of that has a historical and political meaning behind it. So I'm like, yeah, dude, music is political, and so is the self expression that comes with that. And therefore, I want to be expressing myself in this time in America because that's where I live. And things are scary right now. And I don't want to just become this like mute, boring sheep that is, walking through the world. I want to stand out, and I want people to know that I am still vibrant with life and hope in the state of fascism that's going on in the country right now. So yeah, those are my thoughts on that. I feel like I felt more I thought I was gonna feel or talk more passionately about the goal work, but I think the self expression thing's been weighing on me kind of heavy, and hopefully I was able to inspire you a little bit. This keeps fluttering around while I'm talking into it. Should I flip this? Is that better? I think I like it better this way. But yeah, moving on. Okay, our last topic's kind of a doozy and um, sad, but I've been thinking a lot about pet grief recently, and I will preface this by saying this has been brought on by something positive, which doesn't really make any sense, but we'll get there. We recently got a new cat. We got our cat in December. He randomly appeared on my car on my birthday in October, and I was on my way somewhere with my I was going to my parents' house for dinner that night, and this cat, which is now Bobo, my beautiful, wonderful boy, was on my car, and he was like trying to get me to come over to him because he kept like walking away and being like, "Don't you want to pet me?" And I was like, "I don't have time for this right now," because I'm always a frantic mess when I'm leaving the house. So I was like, "Whatever, cat." I'm gonna make sure this is still recording again. But I was like, "Whatever, cat. I don't have time for this." So I just like forgot about it. Blah blah blah. Well, my neighbor across the street has two outdoor cats, and this cat, my cat, he started hanging out with them, and so my neighbor across the street was feeding him, and then my daughter met Bobo, and they were getting along swimmingly. She like kind of stumbled and fell on him a little bit, and he was like so cool about it. He didn't care at all. He was like totally unfazed. And I was like, oh, this cat is really nonchalant. Like, dare I say he's a cool cat. So I started talking to my boyfriend about it, and then my boyfriend met him, and they were getting all buddy buddy, and they were cuddling. And then when I would go outside to smoke, the cat would come up and like try to get inside. And I've never had a cat before. I have two family members who are allergic to cats, so cats were like a no go growing up in my house. So I was very hesitant to bring a cat into the house because I don't know what I'm doing. And my boyfriend was like, they're easy, you know, cats are easy. So they wore me down all, and then my daughter would see the cat like walking around outside, and she'd be like, "There's a cat," and I'm like, "Oh my god, we have to get this cat." So we have him, and all that to say, I love him very very much, and I'm super glad that we have him. Having a pet in your life is something very special. Sorry guys, it's my bedtime. I really should wrap this up soon, but having a cat in your life is, well, having a pet is super special, and I haven't had that in a long, long time. And when we were thinking about getting Bobo, or bringing him into the house and claiming him as our own, I was really hesitant because I kind of felt like I was doing a disservice to the love that I had for my pet prior. We had a family dog, and his name was Schmaltzy, and he was with us for short 8 years, but he was so wonderful, and I think about him pretty much every day. And we just weren't like big pet people growing up, like, or in my house. Like my boyfriend's is a vet, and so they had so many animals all the time. Like they still have 4 dogs and a cat right now. So I think for me, only having, and like my parents had a dog when I was very young, but she was gone by the time I was like 4 or 5. So I have good memories with her, but it just wasn't like the emotional depth that I had with with Schmaltzy. Like he was like what people I think call like their soul animal. Like we were intertwined on a very very strong level, and so I was feeling like there wasn't space in my heart for another pet. But now that I have the pet and he's here and he's been living with us for a few months, I am so grateful that we have him. We've only had him for a couple months because I think he came inside like December 4th or something, and now we're in like the second week of February. So he's only been living with us for a little bit. And but now, like waking up in the middle of the night and having a pet be by your side is just like is one of the greatest pleasures of life. I feel so immensely grateful that we have him. But and something that I have realized is that there is always more room for love in my heart, because I often think like, well, I don't have space for that. Like I don't have space to love more. And I think that about other areas of my life. And I'm always surprised by how much is in my cup, I guess, to love. And I don't really know why I'm rambling about this. It just felt like some wisdom that needed to be shared to the world. I think if you're on the fence about getting a pet, you should just get the pet. If you have the means to, obviously. Like that was another thing that was making me hesitant, was I already have a full-blown child to care for and make sure she's eating and things, and so I was kind of hesitant to add a cat or even a dog into the mix with that, but it's going well. So he's a good boy. I'm super glad. He's not inside right now. It's nice out after the chilly winter weeks that we've had, so he's been out playing outside a lot. But and if you feel some sort of way about outdoor cats, don't tell me, because I don't care. So yeah, he's doing good. We're doing good, and I'm really glad that I have him. And I miss my doggy every single day, and I wish I could hold him and Bobo. But yeah, and then I get so sad about losing Bobo, and he's only like obviously we don't know because we didn't have him as a kitten, but there's no way he's more than like a few years old. Like he can't be more than 5. Like he has a pretty young face. And he has a tiny head, which every time I say that, my boyfriend's like, he doesn't have a tiny head. And I'm like, no, he does. He has a little head, but he's got a big brain. He's my smart boy. So, and I think the difference between this cat and the family dog was he was like our family dog. So I was like his sibling. This feels different because I'm Bobo's mommy. Like, I take care of him, I feed him, you know, my boyfriend makes sure he gets his flea medicine and changes his litter and stuff. Like we're doing parental things for this cat. You know, with my dog, it was just like, I'm home from school, let's take a nap, or you know, let's play with your toy or whatever. But yeah, and I'm also really grateful that my daughter has a pet. My stupid boss at work was like, you can't get a pet because then your daughter's gonna be sad when it dies. And I'm like, yeah, that's what happens when things die. You're sad about it. But uh to what's the quote? To love, I'd rather love and lose than never love. You can't tell me to never love. Come on. That's crazy. I love to love. And that's why I think it's so silly that I was like, I don't have space in my heart for this cat. I've already loved one pet. Who cares? I'll love 50 pets if I have to. You know, I love to love and I love to nurture, and I'm glad the kitty cat's in the house. So I think that's where I'll end it, guys. I really should go to bed, and I have a little Simsy video that I really want to watch, and hopefully I have a really banging name for this by the time it comes out. I honestly don't know, because here's my problem. I don't know if this is going to be a podcast. I don't know if this is going to be like, I mean, it's got to be a podcast, right? I've been talking for like 45 minutes, so I guess it's just gonna be what it's gonna be. Um, I don't want this to be a podcast channel, though. I want this to be a lot of things. So I don't know. If you want to come along for the journey, if you want to listen to some more internal insights, then you should hit the subscribe button and you should hit the like button. And you can comment any thoughts that you have, good or bad. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.